This is huge news. First of all, if you never heard about this topic, we've covered it on several programs. I suggest you go to our website, go to our video podcast page, and go to episode 87 from 2 weeks ago, and it's titled, well, even if Oregon wants to export coal through here, Amber Energy is not the company to be doing business with. In other words, fuck Amber Energy. There is huge news, ladies and gentlemen, since we last talked, and I have got to start the program off with this. It is good news. There is a victory in the fight against coal here in the Northwest, here in Oregon and in Washington State. Another Northwest coal export project has fallen. This company, Kinder Morgan, has dropped out of their Oregon terminal plan. And their terminal developer, Kinder Morgan, last week dropped its proposal to export coal to Asia from this Columbia River port near Clascanine. The company's decision. This means that 3 of the 6 coal export proposals are now defeated. 3 of the 6 have been shut down, and this is fantastic news. But wait, there's more. Wait, I got to tell you, when we first started talking about it, there were 6. We talked about it last week. There were 4. Now I'm talking about it right now. There are 3 proposals still on the table, and the people here need to continue to stand up now more than ever to shut down the last 3 here. Now, of those 3, 1 is still in Oregon. I'll tell you about that in just a second. But together, the 3 projects that have been shut down represented over $500 million worth of money that these companies tried to pump in, tried to get this going, and it would have only created 300 permanent jobs, by the way, around in the region, and only 50 million tons of coal per year to go through. Oh, that's not much at all. But that's not all that this project represents. The abandonment of these projects represents. It's not even close. The 3 projects out of 6 that have been shut down, this represents the active and concerned citizens of this area who have made it absolutely clear. We have shown up to the rally at the rail cut crossing in North Portland. We have shown up at the state capitol in Salem. We have shown up at the coal panel discussion at Portland State University. We have shown up, and we have made it clear that we know what these coal companies are up to. And Amber Energy isn't even a coal company, by the way. I suggest you check out episode 87. We don't want the coal here. And most importantly, hello, we're standing up, and this represents another victory on the behalf of the people who are fighting against turning Oregon into the coal chute to China, the coal chute to South Korea, to Asia. But this is a victory for our clean and pristine Oregon environment. This represents a win for clean air, for clean water, and a much healthier future. But the fight is not over. There's still 3 more proposals right now on the board, and I got to share with you the spokesman for Kinder Morgan, the spokesperson Alan Four, is blaming. Of course, they say, oh well, it's not because of the protesters. It's not because of the controversy. It's not because of all of this opposition to the coal exports. That's not why we're stopping the project. No, it's because of logistics of the site. Yeah, that's all. Maybe some truth to that, but there's also definitely, I think, a lie to say that not the intense controversy, the intense opposition over this exporting coal has nothing to do with that. Is definitely not the case. And the logistics, by the way, were complicated here because of PGE, Portland General Electric. They declined to allow Kinder Morgan to build these coal storage piles near Portland General Electric's Port Westward natural gas-fired power plants. Guess why? Because they were concerned about the coal dust that would F up all of their operations at their plant, at the PGE plant, at the natural gas-fired power plant. They were concerned about this coal dust, and guess what? So are the citizens here. And this is something that has been really something we need to propagate, we need to talk about. I mean, I was just telling my friend, who I haven't seen in a couple of months, yesterday about Amber Energy, and I totally blew their mind. They're like, well, how come no one knows about this? How come no one's talking about this? And of course, so here I am cheering on this good news. Also, Brett Vanden Heuvel, Executive Director of Columbia Riverkeeper, ColumbiaRiverkeeper.org, it's a website, says that he thinks, of course he thinks, the opposition to the coal exports has played a role in this decision by Kinder Morgan to stop their proposal, their project here. And he says, he goes on to say, Brett from Columbia Riverkeeper, Executive Director, goes on to say, quote, this is a huge victory for the state of Oregon. We've proven over and over that coal export is not viable in the Northwest, end quote. With Kinder Morgan's coal terminal off the table, there are 3 terminals still under consideration. Remember, it is far from over. They still have 2 proposals that could be approved in Washington State, and 1 that could still be approved here in Oregon State. Oh, which one happens to be the one in Oregon State? Please go to filterfreeradio.com, watch episode 87 on the video podcast page. Amber Energy's Moral Pacific project in Boardman, Oregon is the one that's left in Oregon, the Amber Energy one. And the project it has a name. It's called Moral Pacific. Moral Pacific's permit, the review has been delayed, and Amber Energy is still hoping that this project will begin shipping coal through Oregon as early as the end of this year, beginning of next year. If you go back and look at Amber Energy's report from 2012, they said we'll already be exporting coal out by 2013. We're already halfway through 2013, almost. And the spokesperson for Kinder Morgan, who is the one that is the most recent one, the most recent company to say, no, we're out. They pulled out. So now there are 3 coal export proposal sites left. Their spokesperson, I want to leave you with this thought from them. They're saying, oh, we're still looking for other coal sites in the Northwest, by the way, and because we still have coal customers over in Asia, where you know what's going on, right? And that's where the demand is. There is no demand here. We can't. The companies here can't make any money off of the coal. The U.S. doesn't want the coal, so they have to ship it somewhere else. And this whole, man, how far are they willing to go, right? But they said, this spokesman said, we're a customer-driven company, and our customers are still looking at options in the Pacific Northwest. So the coal fight is not over. But a victory for us in the fight against it. 1 more down, 3 to go. Now, real quick. I mentioned this. I want to mention this again. You have to go to our website and watch our recent episode, episode 87. It was titled, Even If We Wanted to Export Coal Through Oregon, Fuck Amber Energy. I spent the first hour of that show explaining everything that we need to know about Amber Energy. This is an 8-year-old Australian company that's never made a profit. It's at least $125 million in debt. Closer examination, maybe $300 million in debt. They are not a coal company. Their only previous endeavor in coal, excuse me, failed, accumulating over $10.7 million in losses. Amber Energy is on the hook for hundreds of millions of dollars for mining reclamation, site cleanup, retiree medical and pension benefits, costs arising from a recent settlement. Yes, they were taken to court. They were taken to court. A settlement brought on by Amber Energy's own coal company partners. They didn't get sued by some environmental group. No, their own coal company partners took them to court for violating terms of their agreements, for squeezing out the partners in management decisions, for acting outside of approved budgets. And get this quote from the lawsuit, quote, raising the expectations in the local community regarding jobs and economic development where such expectations may not be justified, end quote. They have already been sued over this. Amber Energy, the company behind the one remaining Oregon coal export proposal that is still on the table, episode 87. And then I spent the second hour of the episode breaking down Amber Energy. They sent their PR representative to spit their BS talking points at this coal panel discussion on all sides of the issue at Portland State University. Go watch episode 87, Coal Exports. There you go.